It's been a minute. I know this. We have had quite a few life things going on, which always makes things really fun and chaotic. But with that and how I've been feeling, I actually read 0 books in April and May, which I haven't been in a reading slump in years. And this one is hitting pretty hard. And so I thought, time to reset. I'll have another thing where I'm setting up my Herkid 3.0 because that is coming up next month. But I figured I need to do another TBR selection because clearly we're going off the rails a little bit and I have to get back on track. I am not going to pick as many books because, like I said, I haven't really read anything, tragically, in a couple of months. So I think we're going to pick about 4 books. I am going to try and prioritize some things, but namely seeing if Alchemized will fit on anything because as requested by Cordy, who makes Herkid, there's to be nothing that is set in the HP world or based on or anything like that. So because it is in my 26 for 2026, I would like to potentially add that in now and get through it so that I am not adding in a 1,000-page book that's not going to count towards Herkid, because I did try for 2.0 and got completely off the rails, stopped logging after a certain bit. So I think it's going to help also if I go through it, set up things that I expect to count towards it with you guys, maybe do a monthly update of like, these are the things that I've checked off, these are things that I'm rearranging, and then if you guys have other suggestions for some of the categories. I am excited about the categories this year, and we'll kind of get that in that separate setting it up video, but I started on July 1st. I might start it on July 4th. I probably won't, actually, because my husband comes home on July 4th or like July 3rd, so that weekend's going to be kind of derailed, so I'm probably going to start on July 1st so I can add a little bit extra time, and or start a little bit later, July 7th, when she usually does. So either way, without further ado, we'll slide this down here on my strings. Hopefully it sounds okay, and we'll get into it. So we'll start with 4. I will put in the graphic here of my 26 or 2026. We are not doing excellent. We've read 3, and so like all of this top shelf is 2026 reads and some of this bottom shelf is, and so a lot of these other ones are just ones that we drew to try and get down on our TBR. As was put up in, you might hear the bells of my dogs because they're demanding to go lay out in the sun. As I think it should be up before this one, my very delayed March unboxing, the second one. I am getting rid of pretty much every one of my boxes except for my book of the month and my fairy loot with items because that one was such a long wait list. I have so many unknown books. I think I have over 300 at this point. I need to count it so that I can put that video up, but I need to stop buying a whole bunch of things. I'm just going to keep getting overwhelmed by how many exist. I got so many for my birthday, which was so lovely and wonderful of my friends and my husband, and now I'm just overwhelmed because I have so many. I've not read anything that's behind me. I've not read half of my shelves downstairs. It's a lot. So let's get out of this reading slump. Let's get this reset. What better time than a new year, new me reset other than June, because it's always, I can be whatever year I want. So for the very first one, this one really wants to come with me. Book you think will make you cry. I immediately want to go to Alchemized because I did tear up in reading Manacled, so maybe I won't cry as much with this one because of that, but let's see what else could count. I feel like some of these are more like romance. I don't think these will make me cry. I don't cry a lot at books. And then back here, Pride and Prejudice. What do I have? Oh, it's hard to turn on the rug. And then back here, some classics, some Bowden. It might make me cry. Legendborn. No, I think right off the bat, I think books that. Hello. What are you doing, buddy? My cat has decided to come mess with the equipment. I think books that I think are gonna make me cry, because like I already said, I wanted to get this one onto this month. I wanted to try and knock this one out, which also is daunting to try and read right after I've been in a slump, because like I said, it's 1,000 pages. We'll see, but I am going to make Alchemized my book one for this month. For books that I think will make me cry. We'll see if it makes me cry, because I'm a little nervous to read it, because it is such just a kind of a copy and paste with a little bit of edits for Manacled, and so I'm losing my excitement over it, but we'll see. I'm gonna draw from, oh, I got a bunch. Let's go with this one. A cartoon cover. Well, there's a whole lot of those, actually. I mean, how much do we want? We have The Princess Who Kills Monsters. This Princess Kills Monsters, which is a cartoon. The Priory of the Orange Tree is a cartoon. People We Meet on Vacation is a cartoon. I have a Tessa Bailey back here, which is, that one's definitely a cartoon. Would be a lighter read. What else do we have? Those are kind of the main ones. What's hiding on here? The Witcher is not. You know, I might go for a Tessa Bailey just to kind of break it up. And I think I've picked this one up a couple of times and I keep putting it back down because it doesn't get me like the first 5 pages. So we'll get there eventually. But I think I'm gonna do, where did I put the piece of paper? Did I put it down? Oh gosh. I think for a cartoon cover, I'm gonna do Tessa Bailey, The Au Pair Affair. So this is a second, all of her like series or independent standalones are interconnected standalones. And so this one comes after, what was it called? It's about the one for golfing. I cannot think of the name of it, but it's green cover. It's one of her newer ones. I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed how it was written. I cannot for the life of me think of what it was called. This one, I'll put it here. Cannot think of it. But this, it's on the back. This follows Fangirl down. So this is about her best friend and his best friend. And so I really liked Fangirl Down. I thought every time I read a Tessa Bailey book, I will say this endlessly, Tessa Bailey is an autobiography author for me because she has, one, good spice in a romance book, but then also has really good banter and build up that goes with it. And there's usually, sometimes there's been a couple that have a good plot underneath of it or have something else that's driving the story and not just the characters wanting to get to the final portion of it. So we'll do that, kind of break up the Alchemized. Maybe read it before Alchemized to get myself out of a slump. Although I am currently also reading book 2 of Dungeon Crawler Carl, which I love the books. I'm just like struggling to read for whatever reason. For a third book, based in another continent. Well, a lot of these are fantasy, so I want to say Downpour is in America. So that's not going to count, I think. Yeah, I'm going to assume, okay. I'm just going to bet that that one is set here. Where is the wedding people set? Rhode Island. Never mind. So none of the fantasy. I feel like this is like an old Hollywood. I still haven't read it. Yep, old Hollywood. This is fantasy. What was it? That one's too fantasy. We do have the Tattooist of Auschwitz. We also have the Kite Runner. So we know both of those count. Those are other planets. So it's not really another continent, it's another planet, you know? What do I have hidden back here? I just looked at these. Lots of fantasy. It's hard to turn this card on a rug. So Legend Born is in America. The Sun Also Rises would count, but I think in the middle of a reading slump, I don't think this is a smart call. I think I need to be in a better headspace for reading to dive into a classic. Of Mice and Men is also like Death Bowl with America. Yeah. And then that is another planet. Based on things that I'm going to do for Herkyad, I'm going to save the Kite Runner because I don't have as many books from that region of the world. And there is an across the map one in different regions. And it's much easier to find stuff that's based in Europe. So I'm going to go with the Tattooist of Auschwitz. We're all over the place with how this is going to go. Yeah, and all those are fantasy too. Okay. So book 3, I'm going to do the Tattooist of Auschwitz. I have also picked this up once before. I mean, it's page like 15. As I think I have previously mentioned, this book hits a little close to home and is sometimes very hard to read because my Oma was in Auschwitz. And so sometimes knowing about the pain of this kind of really, or about just Auschwitz in general, kind of makes it a little bit tough. Because she wouldn't talk about it a lot, and so but it is a connection that I do miss having. So yeah, please give me another fun one because I need a silly fantasy, not super deep, or a silly romance, something that is going to be way more palatable than heart-wrenching stuff. Book I've had over 5 years. Stephen King Bones is definitely one that I've had for a really long time. That is not one that I want to get into this month. I think that will wreck me. These are newer. When did this come out? 2017. Oh my gosh. Did I get it back in There's no way. Okay, so I've had Book of the Month since 2020. So I think it's too risky. I think I had this one as an add-on for me to do any of the Book of the Months. These are new. By new, I mean they're newer than 5 years old. I have had, so Bag of Bones, the Sarah Dessen book, The Moon and More, I got for $1 11 years ago. So I think that one would definitely fit in the wanting something more lighthearted. And also this is like a YA romance story, which these tend, I can't remember, maybe it was Just Listen that I read of her like back in high school, and really enjoyed it, but I was also in high school. 2312 is also one that I've had over 5 years, but again, I need something more lighthearted to go with the two of them because it's gonna be a rough month. I have also had V.C. Andrews. I don't even know which book this is connected to be honest. I don't know if I'm just gonna be confused if this is attached to Flowers in the Attic, which I read way too long ago. Ashes of Dawn. Yeah, so this is attached to Flowers in the Attic. I haven't read that in forever. And I mean, my mom let me read those when I was in middle school. May not have been the best plan, but I do need to get rid of it in a way. Like either I'm gonna love it or I'm gonna hate it. Or I'm not gonna remember anything and I'm just gonna DNF it. So my big choices are between my super old ones: Sarah Dessen, The Moon and More, which is about a high schooler in a typical summer, or a V.C. Andrews book that I have had for long enough that this was an $8 paperback. So when was this published? I think this might be one of the oldest ones that I have. First Pocketbooks paperback edition in 2015. Oh. Why did I think this was so much older than that? When was this published? Whichever one is older is what I'm doing. Wait, was it a story or was it just a paperback was published then? Oh my goodness. Copyright 2015. Wow. Copyright 2013. Well, this one lived to see another day on the cart. So, like I said, I went with the one that was published the oldest. I've had it for clearly since 2015 because I bought it for $1 at Half Price Books. I think Half Price Books. That's their old sticker. So that will be number 4. So book I've had over 5 years. I think that one is definitely another card that will go into it or back into the drawing over and over. So for quite the chaotic choices for June, these are the 4 that I am picking. I am currently also in the middle of book 2 of Dungeon Crawler Carl, and I did restart the March series and I forgot how those books were. So I will grab other books that I enjoy around these, but these would be the ones that I try and prioritize. For June. I want to get Alchemized knocked out of the way because that's not going to count for anything. For Herkiad, I do want to respect her wishes that we don't put anything like that within it because she is a harmful author. And this was based off of that world. So yeah, we are going to do Alchemized, Au Pair Affair, Tattooist of Auschwitz, and The Moon and More by Sarah Dessen. Hopefully we can actually get through these. Hopefully this helps break my reading slump. I feel like there's a mix of some more serious and some more lighthearted things. Hopefully this helps dwindle our numbers down. But yeah, fingers crossed if you have read any of, more so if you have read the really if you've read any of them. If you've read any of these and you absolutely loved or you absolutely hated them, or absolutely hated them, please let me know. I like to hear differing opinions. So even if we don't like the same books, I still like to hear opinions because maybe you caught something that I didn't and I missed a big plot point of the book. I don't know. But as always, thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for being here. I am going to try and be more active now and getting more stuff created for you. Trying to stay on top of everything with Herkiad. hopefully get out of this reading slump. If I don't get out of the reading slump, I may have to start trying to do other things to get up and active in life, like decluttering my house and doing crafts and things like that, because I also have a bunch else to do and that's taken a lot of my attention. So anyway, if you have anything you super want to see, let me know. But we'll start here. And until next time, bye.